Hey guys, Jeremiah, Stone Blue Airlines, and I'm with Mark, VAS, FPV WRA. We're here at the stadium checking stuff out, so we're going to give you a quick rundown on what we're seeing and kind of looking into next week and maybe some small changes after the construction stuff that's being done here.
Yeah, we're going to make a few changes, mainly because some of the stuff that is here now wasn't here back in February when we visited, and we weren't told was going to be here. So it's eliminate one gate, some minor shifting the gates and the pylons, basically, if you're looking at the field to the left a little bit, and then from there it's just moving the pilot station back, coming up with a different spot for the officiating stand and for a charging table for you guys. All right, so basically what we're going to have is this area over here. This is where the pilots and spectators are going to be allowed to park. There'll be a giant inflatable gate here, one of our normal air gates, one of the big sponsor gates, one of the brand new ones. So come through that, and you'll come in here, and immediately to your left, you'll see the pilots. We're going to call this the pit area. It's mainly going to be charging area. There'll be a few tables over here.
And this is all under, so you don't have to worry about tents or anything. Just bring tables,
just
chairs.
Bring tables and chairs. You don't have to bring anything about tents. Don't even worry about it. We're probably going to put up either a Stone Blue tent or a VAS tent here. And then to kind of say, hey, keep out of this area, except for pilots and pit members. Your charging table and all be here. We've got power behind all this. All this should be gone when we get back next week. There will be, along the concourse here, we're going to have 3 outdoor TVs that'll have the live feed up based on what the DVR that I'm reviewing has going through it. So essentially what you'll have is, down in this area, spectators will be allowed to sit down through here.
So we're going to try to keep spectators in the blue area so everything's covered.
Keep them covered. And then pilots, so Jeremiah, if you'll pan to the right, you'll be down over in this general vicinity.
So pilots we're going to probably put in here and launch a few seats up, so maybe it's about 10, 12 feet for launch. And then depending on what the wind direction is, of course that could change. Today we've got air coming this way down the field.
Yeah, so basically what you'll do is we're going to set you guys up over here. We'll have a VAS tent will be up here. The big 20-footer will be down here for the pilots to fly from. It'll be somewhat back up underneath, but you'll be able to sit down and in front of it a little ways. We're going to probably say 3 or 4 rows in front of, but don't go beyond that. Launching will be done from down, not on the field, but just up top. That'll give you another couple, I think it's about a 6-foot roughly rise. So it'll give you 6 foot extra to kind of recover your aircraft if you have a little bit of a rough launch. Then what we're going to do is we'll come back up here and through the concourse. And what we're going to have over here is, again, this is all going to be, should be empty. All of this should be empty at this point when you guys show up. 3 TVs through here showing the live feed. There'll be space throughout. Under section 104 will be the FPV WRA tent and the scoring table. From here, I have a pretty good view of everything. Ryan will manage the pilots down in the pilots area. I'll be running all the electronics, and hopefully, if they're able to get me the drop that I'm asking for, a live stream. So the goal is to try and live stream the entire event from this location.
Yeah. Awesome. So then the track change will be a subtle. We're going to go ahead and blend sport spec into kind of just a modified track. So it'll essentially be the sport track with an added chicane in it. And we'll update the I'll update the art this week. We'll post that out so everybody's got that as well. So we'll just talk you through it while we're here at the stadium. They've really done a ton of work here. The new side is up.
I'll go down on the field and you can just kind of point. I'll show what we're doing.
So they've been doing a ton of work here over the last couple months. This whole side's in. And if you're coming for open ceremonies, which I would recommend, it's going to be a fun night. They're going to have their stage out center, and then pilots will be welcome to walk. I'll get closer. So we're coming down from this end. We're gonna come through the chicane with the brand new pylons. We're gonna hit mark somewhere in here, which is gonna be our first Emmelman.
This was original. Now, we may adjust this back this direction towards the Jumbotron a little bit to either, initially we were gonna be more the center of the end zone, but I think we might have to push it to about the 5 or 8 yard line just because of this all here. None of this was here.
Yeah, it's kind of closed in a little bit more. Initially, it was a bigger open field area. It was flat, and they filled some of it in.
Yeah, so just to give you guys a little more room to pull your Emmelman. So start finish will be here. You'll come up and over, down to the other end of the field. All right, what we originally had for spec, this is where the biggest changes are gonna happen, is at spec course. What we originally had was on the 45 yard line, down past the Liberty Flames logo in the center of the field. Somewhere right around in that area was going to be an Emmelman. Well, we're going to take that out. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use the sport Emmelman that's at the far end of the track, all the way at the roughly the 2 yard line. You'll pull up Emmelman, come back down. There'll be another
Emmelman
gate here. It's not an Emmelman.
Well, yeah,
yeah, it's a long sweeping turn.
Left turn.
So what you're gonna do as you come through, you'll fly through the gate, and it's a long sweeping turn back.
And then the flag.
Degrees. Spec will have a chicane.
Yeah, flag,
up top.
flag. So we'll have the flags for spec, and they'll be there for sport, but sport will run up and around versus doing the chicane. So we're eliminating that extra gate, and then we'll push the Emmelman farther so we've got more room to line up.
Spec was going to come back between the stands and the Jumbotron. You were going to come back through and have to drop in, and then Emmelman back up and out and around the Jumbotron. We're not going to do that. That's just, everything's closed in now with all the construction that's been going on, so we don't have the space to do that. That space is gone now. So instead of doing that and putting you guys in a position where you've got people coming and going in a matter of 15 yards and heading in the same direction, it's your opposite directions, basically 100% at each other. We're just gonna eliminate that. That gate will be gone. You'll just run your chicane up top, fly around the Jumbotron, line up. When you come over the building that says Arthur L. Williams Stadium down there, you're gonna come over that building and you're gonna drop in and you're gonna start your chicane. This three pylon chicane right down this sideline right here. Line up with your Emmelman, hammer your Emmelman, back down.
Emmelman straight back. So this will be a more direct and easier shot. Hopefully a little less confusion. And then based on our space now should also enable, so pilots aren't going to have as much of an issue. Hopefully less crashing and more straightforward to keep speed and, you know, depending on wind and stuff in the stadium at this point too.
I think you're going to have to really manage your throttle on the pilot stance side of things. So on the home field side of the stadium, through the chicane with the pylons, it's going to be a lot of throttle management because you're going to have to get off throttle coming down that, coming through that dive into your chicane. You're going to have to manage your throttle through so that you can still hit this Emmelman gate. You're going to essentially have to line up right off of the pylons as soon as you dive in. I'm going to do everything that I can to kind of offset it so that you have a little bit of room to play. But because this is here, it's kind of shifted us all that direction a little bit.
And when the 30-second timer, we've got that, this spot over the kind of the end zone is going to be our spot to start, because ultimately right behind us is where the start gate will be, crossways to hit it, and then so just heads up, and we can't go out over the road. We can't really be much farther than the building, so we're going to be doing a fairly tight pattern in here.
You can get it in there. It'll fit in there just out over top. That's the indoor facility, so their indoor practice facility. So we can try, you know, there's another field on the other side of that. Don't, you know, try not to go past that other soccer.
And we've got the whole stadium space where you can use this space to do your run up.
Yep.
But ultimately, before we get ready to run and head to the main gate, which actually, sorry, we were doing this one, right? The far one will be our main start.
No, this is the start finish gate. Right?
Sorry, start finish gate here.
Yeah.
And so that way you'll have a nice run up and no chicane. It'll be a straight shot into this one. We'll start the race and then go from there. Yep.
And then you got to put the chicane in to finish the lap.
Yep.
The question came up about running possibly minis in the indoor facility. Is it possible to fly them in there? Yes, absolutely. Is it possible to set up a small course in there? Certainly. Is it a good idea? No. And the reason is the video in there, we flew 2 aircraft in there at one time. The video is so bad that it's not worth the headache of even attempting it. We'd only be able to run 2 pilots at a time, and you're gonna be complaining about the video the entire time. The video was so bad in there, it was not worth even exploring.
And we have this space for the whole day. We're not here for just an hour or 2 hours. So depending on what the weather does or the wind, we've got time, and we have into Sunday too. So hopefully the weather will be great for us. And either way, even if it's overcast like it is today.
And we plan to try and start first wing in the air at 10 o'clock. So first wing in the air is at 10. I'm going to put out a heat sheet here in a couple of days so that everybody knows what channel they're on, what heats they're running in. Currently, there's enough people that we can run 5 heats. And so what you're going to be looking at is heat 1, you're going to spot heat 5. Heat 2 spots heat 1. Heat 3 spots heat 2. Heat 4 spots heat 3. Heat 5 spots heat 4. That way everyone is cycled through and is spotting someone. There's not very far to go to plug in anything. You're very close. When you're done flying and you get your aircraft back, you know you're probably going to have 2 or 3 heats between you and having to spot. So you're looking at about 10 to 15 minutes, but you need to get over there, plug in, do what you got to do, and get back over. I think that's plenty of time. Barring anything major happening. If we have something major happen, then we'll adjust fire from there. But there should move pretty smoothly. There shouldn't be a whole lot of running around guessing. I'm trying to have an exact timeline of what, when, where, why, and how.
And this whole event space is ours. So pilots, you're welcome to park up here if you just have vehicles and you're not pulling a bunch of stuff. Smaller trailers should be okay. If you've got an RV, I would recommend you coming on the back side. We should have some space. I would also plan to don't wait till the last minute to get here. You plan accordingly.
I would plan on trying to be here Friday. Also Saturday night. So if we do get weather and we have to run into the night, we can absolutely do so. They will turn on the stadium lights and it'll light this place up. It should not be a problem to run through into the night. So plan for the worst, hope for the best. We might be running till 11 o'clock at night. Some of y'all might not mind that, some of you might. So
come prepared and be ready to have some fun. And this is a unique location, a unique spot, and we get to do something different. So guys, we'll see you next week. Look for the maps and stuff coming out. We'll re-update the track layout, and we'll see you next week.